Can you see the board?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us continue our discussion from the last class. So in the last class, we were particularly focused on the possibility of having electromagnetic radiation from oscillating electric dipole. So we considered an individual dipole, one single dipole, which is oscillating, uh, and we calculated the electric field and magnetic field. First, we calculated the vector potential, from which we calculated the magnetic field. And then we used the Lorentz gauge condition to calculate phi from it, and then used that phi to calculate the electric field. And we saw that magnetic field has two distinct components. One is the induction part, another has a behavior of as 1 by, which varies 1 by r, which we call a radiation field. Similarly, when we analyze the electric field, we saw that it has three different type of contribution. One varies as 1 by r cube, which is basically nothing but the electric field of a static dipole. Second, another part is varying as 1 by r square, which is basically a Coulomb type field, and it depends on p dot. P dot is, if you remember, P dot is ideal, so it depends on the current. Again, current means dq dt. Q is the charge here, which is moving back and forth, and we have an oscillating dipole due to that. And there was a term at the end of that calculation which varied as 1 by r, which we again called the radiation type electric field. So when we discuss about radiation, we only consider these parts of the field which varies as 1 by r, because the other parts of field can be also used to calculate the Poynting vector, but we cannot have radiation, effective radiation from those terms. So we are not interested in that, to consider radiation from oscillating electric dipole. So okay, maybe I will briefly write down the expression that we have derived. So radiation part of the electric field for an oscillating electric dipole, we calculated that Er was equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 c square r p double dot sine theta. What is p? P is the dipole moment, which is q times dl, and we have an oscillating dipole, right? We have a charge q. This is dl. Charge is q. We have a field point somewhere here at a distance r from the center of the dipole, which you call this r. And of course, you can, since it is moving back and forth, so the position of the charge is varying with time, so you can call this to be r prime, and this as curly r, if you like. But as I told you, under this approximation of this far field approximation, where the dipole size of the dipole is much shorter than this distance between the dipole and the field point, we can treat this curly r and r to be nearly same. And this is the direction of r cap. This direction is r cap. Theta cap is perpendicular to that, and phi cap is perpendicular to the page or the board here, right? So er is along this direction, and the br, the radiation part of the magnetic field, is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi, which I am converting to epsilon 0. So that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 c cube into r p double dot sine theta phi cap. So you can understand the electric field and magnetic field due to the oscillating dipole at this location. It is electric field is pointed towards the theta, which is orthogonal to r, and br, the magnetic field, is pointed um, towards you from this blackboard, right? From here, it is perpendicular to the screen. So er and br are mutually orthogonal to each other. And if we calculate the Poynting vector due to these terms, SR Poynting vector is simply 1 over mu 0 ER cross BR. Can you see the board?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ER cross BR, and we substitute this to get. So I'm not just so I have already done this, so it is just simply P double dot square on the numerator, P double dot square sine square theta. Remember, this is theta. Theta is the angle between this radius vector r and the dipole axis of the dipole, that is theta. P double dot square sine square theta divided by it will be 16, 4 into 4 16 pi square epsilon 0 uh, and then c cube times r square, c cube r square, c cube r square, right? 1 by mu 0, yes, yeah, br, yes, b double dot, wait a minute, b double dot sine theta 4 pi epsilon 0 cq r is fine, yes, rc, er cross br, right, right, okay, c cube into r square. Okay, yeah, let me just check whether at 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 c square, yeah, that's correct, and r p double dot sine theta. Okay. There is a 1 by mu 0 here, right? So that will actually give you epsilon 0 c square. That's why the power of epsilon 0, because epsilon 0 into epsilon 0 is epsilon 0 square, right? And cq into c square is c to the power 5. But I have written epsilon 0 cq. That is because I have written 1 by mu 0 equal to epsilon 0 c square. So 1 epsilon 0 got cancelled, and c square and c to the power 5. That's why you have cq here. And theta cap cross phi cap, that will be along r cap. So the radiation, this pointing vector is pointed along the radial vector, right? So energy flow is along the radial vector, radius vector, and we have to find out what is p double dot square. At least from this expression we can infer something about the radiation pattern, because pointing vector and the dp d omega are intimately related. Because if I ask you what is dp dt, if I dp power radiated say across a small element of area ds, that will be given by sr into ds, right? SR is the amount of energy crossing per unit area per unit time. So this, if this is the area, then energy per unit time is this. That's the power. And what is d omega? D omega is ds over r square. So dp d omega is basically nothing but the pointing vector times r square. And dp d omega, we have calculated this many times, and this tells us how the distribution looks like. I mean, in space. I mean, if this is the dipole. If we have a dipole like this, and we want to know how the radiation patterns appears around it. So radiation, actually, since this is theta, so this is sine square theta. Theta is the angle between axis of the dipole and the radius vector. So radius vector means there could be any point which can be joined from the center of the dipole to that point, that is the radius vector r, and this angle is theta, right? If I take any arbitrary point, and this is theta, right? And this is since this is sine square theta, this will be something like this. So dipole will not radiate any power along its axis. All the power will be confined in a plane which is orthogonal to the dipole axis, right? And of course, as I should remind you that this is a cross sectional view of the radiation pattern. If you rotate this by 360-degree, you will get something like a donut, right? And that is the actual radiation pattern in 3 dimension, which I cannot draw on this blackboard. And we let us calculate this further, because p double dot, we know what is p. P is the dipole moment, which is given by the charge times the extent of the dipole, that is this much, this is dl, right? And q is varying, so we can write q0 cos omega t, or you can think also this dl cos omega t, doesn't matter, they are equivalent. And let us call this q0 into dl, which is a constant, as the p0, right? So p0 into cos omega t. So basically dipole moment is varying. Either you think that the distance is the separation is changing, or the length of the dipole is changing, or you can think the charge is gets mirrored away and gets distributed over the entire space, so charge is changing. So in either case, you just have a dipole whose dipole moment is varying. P0 is something not changing. This is the time dependent term. And if I ask you what is the amplitude of this dipole, okay, maybe I can drop this arrow sign here. This is simply P0 uh, cos. I should actually, in order to remain correct, we should write omega t minus curly r by c, but curly r and r is same under the far field approximation. This curly r and r is same, so I'm writing omega t minus r by c, because this field is produced by the dipole, and there should be a time lag between the position of the charge and the field created here. So that's why I'm subtracting t minus r by c. This is the retardation effect that we have discussed earlier. And if I take p double dot of this quantity, p double dot, I mean, when this is basically p, if I don't put a vector here, this is a p arrow mod of that p. So p double dot is simply given by that. There's only one time dependent term here, right? Cos. So basically, we have double derivative, right? So cos becomes sine, and then sine becomes cos. So there will be one negative sign and then from that derivative, and since there is omega t here, so cos becomes sine, sine becomes cos. So finally, you have a cos, and there will be two omega. So omega into omega is omega square times p0 cos of omega t minus r by c. Now, if I ask you that what will be the average time average value of the Poynting vector, we have already calculated the Poynting vector. You can put this, if you wish, you can put this r equal to p double dot square is now minus, if you take a square, that will become plus, omega square will become omega to the power 4, and then we have p0 square cos square omega t minus r by c. Then we have a sine square theta, and then divided by what is there, 16 pi square epsilon 0 c cube into r square, right? And r cap, of course, this is a vector. Now, if I ask you to calculate the time averaged value, that is, you have a oscillating dipole which is oscillating with time, and if we calculate the average over a time period, that means you have to integrate over 0 to capital T time period and dt. So if you integrate this over the time period, you have a cos square of omega t minus r by c, which will basically give you a half factor from you'll get a half factor from this, right? So that will give you omega to the power 4 p0 square sine square theta divided by half factor. So 16 into 2 is 32 pi square epsilon 0 c cube r square. So this is the average Poynting vector, right? Time average Poynting vector. Now you see the next part, you can assume what is the next part is going to be, that is how much is the total power radiated by this oscillating dipole. So to get that, you just have to integrate either the Poynting vector or dp d omega, whatever you want. What is the total power emitted by the dipole? This dipole will be pt, will be given by, what is that? You have to integrate SR Poynting vector across the surface of a sphere, right? So what was the Poynting vector? Let me write it here. Poynting vector was omega to the power 4 p0 square. P0 is q0 times dl. Remember that, sine square theta divided by 32 pi square epsilon 0 c cube into r square r cap. This is the Poynting vector, and you want to integrate over the entire surface area, right? Either you do it for dp d omega or sr. If you want to use sr, then you have to integrate, what is that? Integrate over closed surface sr. This is, if you don't write, is r cap, right? R cap dot r cap into dA, surface area, element of area, right? If you do that, you will get omega to the power 4 p0 square 32 pi square epsilon 0 c cube. There is r square here. I'm not writing again. dA equal to r square sine theta d theta d phi. So r square gets cancelled, and you have an integral like 0 to pi, 0 to 2 pi. And you have a sine square theta here. Sine square theta into sine theta is sine cube theta d theta d phi. There are no phi terms, so d phi will give you 2 pi. And if you integrate sine cube theta from 0 to 2 pi, 0 to pi, you get 4 third, 4 into 3. So you will have a expression like this: omega 4 into p0 square divided by 32 pi square epsilon 0 c cube into 2 pi into 4 by 3. So if you simplify this, you have an expression omega to the power 4 p0 square divided by 12 pi epsilon 0 c cube. Or if you write in terms of mu 0, this will be equal to mu 0 omega to the power 4 p0 square divided by 12 pi c, because mu 0 equal 1 by epsilon 0 c square, 12 pi c. So the conclusion is that the radiated power, total power radiated by an oscillating dipole Pt, is proportional to omega to the power 4 and also proportional to p0 square. P0 is the intrinsic dipole moment, right? And this is the frequency with which the dipole is oscillating. Omega is the frequency of the oscillation of the dipole. Now, you may have heard about this scattering phenomena. Of course, I will discuss that in greater detail in the next class. So you can relate this formula to scattering, because why do we see the sky is blue? The color of the sky is blue, and during the sunrise and sunset we see the sky as red. Of course, you know the answer, because this is something which is discussed in school, but you can I think appreciate it in a better way by looking at this formula, because the what is happening is basically you have an electromagnetic radiation coming from some direction, right? That's the electric field, and the dipole is oscillating here, right, due to that incident electric field, and it is basically radiating energy around it in a form of electromagnetic radiation, and the radiation pattern is something like this, right? It is orthogonal to the oscillation, and the dipole oscillates like this. So suppose, so if you look at the composition of our atmosphere, you have different kind of gas molecules like carbon dioxide or water vapor, nitrogen, oxygen, and so on. And you may be aware that many of these gas molecules have they poses a permanent dipole and dipole moment, right? Because due to the intrinsic structure, molecular structure. So if they have a dipole moment and they are basically they are exposed to electromagnetic radiation, say coming from sun, because sun radiates over a wide range of frequency, right? So there are X-ray, gamma ray, starting from that visual and visible spectrum and infrared and so on. So basically there are different frequency, and when these these molecules are basically they encounter this electromagnetic radiation, they starts oscillating, right? And depending on the frequency of oscillation, they will scatter different amount of power for each of those frequencies, right? So it depends. You can see the formula tells that the maximum amount of power will be radiated by the dipole for higher frequencies. So in the visible spectrum, we have the bluer part, which is the higher frequency part, and that's why we see a maximum amount of power. I mean, all the dipoles in the atmosphere, these molecules or the dipoles, they actually scatter. Or I should not use the word scatter because I have not discussed scattering. Okay, the radiation, the dipoles radiate. The dipoles will radiate for higher frequencies, they will radiate more for the higher frequencies of electromagnetic spectrum. You may ask why don't we see the sky to be violet? That's a different question, which is intrinsically basically related to our structure of our eye. So if you want to understand why we do not see the sky to be violet, that's our structure of our eye, the way our this rod cell and cone cells, and they actually have a kind of I mean a filter. I mean, so that's a different region. That's a biological region. I'm not going to that. The actual, I mean, if you ask from a physics viewpoint, of course, the sky should look violet, but that is not the case because of our the biological evolution, the way our eye works. Anyway, So that's a different question. I may come to this when I will discuss scattering, but not right now. So this tells you that the in this case you should expect the sky to look like blue, or the higher frequency, because maximum power is basically radiated by the dipole in the higher frequency. And of course the sunset and sunrise is something, because when you are near the horizon, sun is closer to you. Here sun is closer to you. In the horizon, sun rises and sun sets. This distance is the farthest distance. So basically all the energy which are radiated by the these blue things, because all that gets radiated away, and what is left, the least scattered or least radiated frequency is red. That only comes to your eyes here, because the other parts are getting scattered. So I'm using this word scattered. Maybe it's they are very close to this thing. So they will get scattered away, and you will see the sky to be like red or orange colors. And another thing you should remember, that when the sunlight, so this you should remember about this radiation pattern, right? So no power is radiated along the axis of the dipole. So if the sunlight is going like this and dipole is oscillating like this, so you get only radiation along this direction. But there could be some dipole, suppose light may come from this direction as well. So in that case the dipole is oscillating in this direction, right? In this direction, right? So in that case the power is radiated along this direction, right? And if you are looking from this, you will never see the radiation from this dipole which is oscillating like this, right? You only see the radiation from the dipoles which are oscillating like this, right? So this is the radiation from oscillating electric dipole, and there are many applications which we will not be able to cover here. Specifically, one of the most interesting application of this is the antenna, right? Which I don't know how much of it is covered in your electronic course, but the fundamental principle comes from this, right? Because what you are doing in antenna, basically you have something like this, and you basically you're sending an AC, right? So you have a something, it's a linear antenna. Of course there can be different types of antenna. So what you see that current goes back and forth, right? And what you are basically doing, you're producing a dipole, oscillating dipole, which will produce its own radiation pattern. And by just sticking to this principle, you can actually design an antenna. So আমি অন্যান্য বছর অ্যান্টেনা পার্টটা কভার করি বেশ কিছুটা, কিন্তু এই বছর সেটা সম্ভব হবে না। Again, that's an application part, but my prime focus is to cover the physics part at least, যেটা প্রাইমারি যে ফিজিক্যাল ফেনোমেনা গুলো বা ফর্মুলা গুলো সেগুলোর সঙ্গে ফ্যামিলিয়ার হওয়া। This is an application part, and this is of course not emphasized in the syllabus as well. I just did it because I had time earlier. এখন আমরা এই বছর সেটা কভার করতে পারবো না। But again, antenna is a very interesting thing because it has lots of application, antenna, radar, and because you can also combine different configuration of antennas to produce a desired radiation pattern. So all these are possible by just using this principle of oscillating electric dipole. So all electric dipole radiation, I think I have discussed about the primary the primary idea behind this. So now let us move into the magnetic dipole radiation. Just like electric dipole radiation, we can also have magnetic dipole radiation. And from the name you may guess that it is about the time variation of a magnetic dipole. So when can we have a magnetic dipole, right? Magnetic dipole is also a very interesting thing because it comes up in different branches of physics, starting from the idea of magnetism when we discussed about say diamagnetic, what is the origin of diamagnetic, paramagnetic or ferromagnetic substance. Ultimately in the atomic level, you just have tiny electronic orbits which are moving in a path. Of course that's not the idea from quantum mechanics, but in classical view we think that there are tiny circular path around which the electrons moves around the nucleus, and that can give rise to a current. And you have so whenever you have a closed current loop, it can have a magnetic moment associated with that, right? That you know. And what is the direction of the magnetic moment? That is orthogonal to the plane of the orbit. And what is the magnitude of that magnetic moment? Of course that is given by the area of the loop. I think you have learned this in your BSc. Area of the loop times the current. right? So magnetic moment of this loop is given by the current times the area. So if the area is say b or a, okay, b, then it is I times pi b square, right? And this is n cap normal to the plane, so let us call this direction, this n cap. So this is the magnetic moment. Now what happens if I send a, a time varying current through the loop, some closed loop? I'm not discussing about current at the atomic level, but this magnetic moment, idea of magnetic moment is everywhere. So if I have a current, if you have a loop, closed circular loop, through which I send a time varying current, suppose I equal to say I zero cos omega t, right? Okay, cos omega t. So then the magnetic moment will be equal to I zero pi b square, mm, cos omega t into n cap. So essentially, you see, this whole thing can be called m0. Say, okay, the m equal to, m is not mass, okay, or I can use mu, but mu is already used. Okay, m equal to, this is equal to, I call this as m0 cos omega t, cos omega t, right? And this is n cap, of course. So but thing is that, you see, by just looking at this one, you can understand that the magnetic moment is varying with time. So it is increasing and then decreasing, and then it is going backwards, again increasing, decreasing. So this is like a magnetic moment which is varying with, oscillating in time. So that is happening because the current itself is changing in the loop, right? Current is increasing, reaching its maxima, then decreasing and again increasing. So that's why the length and direction of the magnetic moment is changing with time. This can also produce electromagnetic radiation, that is we are going to discuss today. And we shall also compare which one is important, electric dipole radiation or the magnetic dipole radiation, given different scenarios. We can have electric dipole or magnetic dipole or both, and if that is the case, which one should be given more importance, and so on. So let us start our discussion on oscillating magnetic dipole. So I have already explained what a magnetic dipole, oscillating magnetic dipole means. Uh, so you want to calculate the field first. So the idea is very similar. You just have to calculate the field associated with an oscillating magnetic dipole. Either you calculate it from potential or whatever you want to use. You can use any technique to calculate the field, and then from the field you calculate the Poynting vector, and use the Poynting vector to calculate the dpu d omega, or the total power radiated by that system. So we already have some idea about our approach. So let me just draw a simple diagram, right, before I calculate the field values or the potentials. So let us choose a coded system, right? So let us call this. We are working in a, right, we are drawing a Cartesian coded system. Let us call this x. This is y. A right-handed coded system, x, y, and z. Right. This is z. And suppose the loop is lying on the xy plane. So we have the circular loop. The center of the loop is exactly at the origin. Okay, so let us draw a circular loop of, say, radius b. Okay, radius is, say, b. So this is carrying some current, and we want to calculate, say, the field value at some points here. It can be here as well, anywhere. Here, suppose here, let us call this vector this is point P. Say, let us call this vector R. This is the radius vector of the field point P, right? So the angles which we, for the time being, let us take this vector to be lying in the xz plane. Of course, we can use any arbitrary position, but for the sake of simplicity, there is a reason why I am choosing this field point only in the xz plane. It can be chosen anywhere, because if I choose anywhere, then I would require three different coordinates, r, theta, and phi, right? Here, if I stick to this, I can use phi to be 0, because this is angle is phi. If you remember, this angle is phi and this angle is theta. So my calculation becomes a bit simpler, because by choosing this on the xz plane, I am not altering any physics, because you can choose your point here or there or anywhere. I can rotate my coordinate system to bring it in on the xz plane. That is all time possible. So it is not changing any physics. It is just for the sake of simplicity. I don't have to incorporate this, because I can write then in terms of purely one angle. So that's why I'm choosing this field point on the xz plane. There is no other reason behind this. Okay. Then we want to calculate the vector potential for due to this entire loop. So in order to do that, we have to look at divide this entire loop into small elements of length, right? So suppose this is a small element of length, and this angle is phi, and suppose this is dl subtends and small angle, say d phi. Then this length of the element dl will be b times, this is say d phi, this is d phi. So b d phi is the length of this element. So, and you have many such elements along the circle, which gives you the entire loop, right? So if I ask you what is the vector potential at this point P, what is the vector potential at this field point P? So to get the answer, we have to use this. So you want to calculate vector potential A, which is given by mu 0 over 4 pi, and then IDL I, because this is a one-dimensional small element. Of course, if you are working in 3 dimensions, then this will be J times dV divided by R. If you are using an area, then you have to use the surface current. Here volume, J is the volume current density, and I is simply current. So you can use dl over R. Now what is this curly R? Curly R, you can think this to be curly R. This is curly R. This is R. You can call this B is nothing but R prime, because that is the element across. This is this. Well, so maybe the picture is not very clear. This line, this curly R, which I am calling curly R, is actually the line which joins point P and this radius vector, this tip of the radius here B, right? So this is curly R. So this makes a triangle. This R, B, and curly R, that makes a triangle, right? So you have to visualize it in 3 dimensions. Okay, and then let us put the value of this I. What is I? I equal to, I already told you, this is just time varying current I0, say cos omega t. This is I, right? Or if you want to be correct, you should actually write I equal to I0 cos of omega t minus curly R by C. This is omega t minus R by C. So I0, let us write this, A equal to mu 0 over 4 pi I0 cos of omega t minus curly R by C divided by R. And what is dl? dl is, what is dl?
R d phi.
B d phi. B is the radius, right? B d phi,
B
correct.
d phi.
B d phi. And what is the direction? Because this is a vector.
Phi cap.
Correct, phi cap, because this is in this plane, right? Phi cap, correct. So here another important thing is that we'll be needing this phi cap in terms of x cap, y cap, and z cap. There is so we should actually write down that, because what is phi cap? Because R, if I stick to this, if I put this, consider the field point only in the xz plane, then writing R is straightforward. What is R? R is R cos theta z cap plus R sin theta x cap, right? Because this R vector is lying in the xz plane, so it has only 2 components, right? This one. And what is the B? B is in the xy plane. So B can be written as b cos phi. This angle is phi, so b cos phi x cap plus b sin phi y cap. So you know what is r and what is b, right? This b can be written, and r also, because r, what is r? Okay, we should write that r square, currently r square is equal to r square by just using vector addition twice r dot b. And we can use this expression for r and b. What is r dot b? If I ask you what is r dot b, r dot b, z cap dot x cap 0, z cap dot y cap, that is also 0, only x cap dot x cap survives, so that will be equal to r b sine theta cos phi, sine theta cos phi, other terms would be 0. And you can simplify this further. You can write r equal to, if I take r square common, then it will be r, I have put a square root here, taken square outside here, 1. So this, if I take r square here, 1 plus b square by r square, and minus r dot b is this one. If I divide by r square, this will be twice b by r, twice b by r sine theta cos phi. This is the curly r, this one, right? You can also simplify this further, because this b is the radius of the loop, and b by r, right? This is the far field approximation, where b, radius of the loop, is much smaller than the distance to the field point. So b by r is much less than 1, because b is much less than r, the same thing, right? So keeping that in your mind, you can if you compare this two term, b by r square, b by r whole square, and b by r, of course this term will be much larger than this term, right? It's all about relative importance of the terms. Of course you can keep all of them, but this term will be much smaller than this term. So you actually write this to be r into 1 square root of that, right? So you can, because b by r is a small number, so you can Taylor expand it, and you can write this to be 1 minus, so this is equal to, nearly equal to 0, this will remain. And if you write 1 minus 2 into b by r sine theta cos phi to the power half, then you can write that as 1 minus half into that. So half, 2 and 2 gets cancelled, so 1 minus b by r sine theta cos phi. This is the curly r, simplified, of course, simplified with this approximation which you have considered, b much less than r. Another important ingredient is a phi cap, because we are writing everything in terms of x cap, y cap, and z cap, the unit vectors in the Cartesian coordinate system. What is phi cap in terms of x cap, y cap, and z cap? So phi cap, actually I am writing it here, phi cap is simply written as minus x cap sine phi plus y cap cos phi. This is phi cap in terms of x cap and y cap. In order to understand this, let us briefly discuss this, how this comes. This is straightforward. How do we get that? Because if you go to spherical polar coordinate, you have, right, you have this to be r, and then this is theta, and if you project, this angle is phi, right? Let us call this x, this is y, this is z, right? So we can combine these vectors, right? So if I combine, say r okay, unit vector r cap, you can write this to be as x cap sine theta cos phi plus y cap sine theta sine phi. I'm just taking the components, plus z cap cos theta, that will be a vector. And if I want to have the unit vector r cap in terms of them, you see sine theta, if you square square this sine square theta, cos square phi, sine square theta, sine square phi, and cos square theta. So sine square theta, take that out. If I want to have the amplitude of the vector, that is root over of x square plus, I mean a square plus b square plus c square. So if you take sine square theta out, cos square phi plus sine square phi is 1. So we have sine square theta, and then sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to again 1. So you get r cap equal to sine theta cos phi sine theta. It is not r cap. Okay, yeah, cos phi r cap equal to is the same thing. I think I can write this as r cap, right? Of course, this will be 1, so that doesn't matter. This is r cap. What will be phi cap? If I want to know phi cap can be obtained. Phi is orthogonal to theta cap, right? Theta cap is along this direction. Phi cap will be orthogonal to both theta cap and r cap. So that will be perpendicular to the screen here. So phi cap can be obtained by taking cross product between z cap cross r cap, right? Z is along this direction, so this is z cap cross r cap. So z cross r will be along the phi direction, phi cap. So z cap cross what is r cap? R cap is given by this, right? Sine theta cos phi x cap plus sine theta sine phi y cap plus cos theta z cap. Of course, z cap cross x cap equal to y cap, z cross x y cap. So sine theta cos phi, this will be y cap minus z cap cross y cap, that is equal to minus of x cap, right? X cap, and sine theta sine phi, sine theta sine phi. I should not write this to be phi cap because it is some vector. Because you see, if I take square root of the square of this square, sine square theta cos square phi plus sine square theta sine square phi. So if I take sine square theta out, sine square phi plus cos square phi equal to 1. But in order to get the unit vector, we have to divide by sine theta. So sorry, phi cap is equal to cos phi y cap minus x cap, and sine phi x cap, right? That is phi cap. Similarly, you can also obtain theta cap by just taking phi cap cross r cap. I'm not interested in doing that because all that we need is phi cap, because we will be needing this phi cap in our calculation. So that's why I showed you this phi cap. And let us write down the formula for vector potential, which we have started with mu 0 by 4 pi, and then we had this is 0 to 2 pi. The loop is circular. This is a circular loop, and we have to integrate over pi only. You may remember the expression I0 cos of omega t minus curly r by c divided by curly r. This was the original expression, phi cap and b d phi. Since we have to integrate over d phi, so that's why I am using the limit 0 to 2 pi. And let us now write down the different values that we have simplified. Mu 0 by 4 pi, this goes 0 to 2 pi, I0 cos omega, and then you see we have calculated curly r. What was curly r? If you remember curly r, we calculated curly r equal to r into 1 minus b by r sine theta cos phi. So let us put that t minus ki hobe r by c, ekta r ache, r by c minus r by c, minus and the minus becomes plus, and then এই rটা কেটে যাবে, rটা কেটে গেল, b থাকলো b by c, c is here, so b by c sin theta cos phi, right? This is cos, and r, what is r? Curly r, curly r is nothing but this one, r into 1 minus b by r sin theta cos phi, right? And what is phi cap? Phi cap আমরা একটু আগে বার করলাম, this is phi cap. So phi cap is into space নেই এখানে, minus x cap sin phi, x cap sin phi plus y cap cos phi. This is into and into b d phi. জায়গা নেই এখানে, b d phi into this is phi cap, and this is the entire this expression. So we have to simplify this, keeping in mind the approximation that we have chosen. Let us go to the next page. Okay, I'm rewriting the at least the beginning part, otherwise it will be difficult to follow. So the exactly the part that I have written in the previous page is mu 0 by 4 pi 0 to 2 pi, and then I 0 cos of omega t minus r by c plus b by c sine theta cos of pi divided by 1 r into 1 minus b by r sine theta cos of pi. This is theta, right? Into minus x cap sine phi plus y cap cos phi into bt phi. This was the thing that we wrote in the previous page. Okay, now let us simplify. You see, this is cos of a plus b, so you can use the formula of cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. And you should also remember that this quantity omega b by c, if I omega cos a cos b omega b by c omega b by c sine theta cos phi, right? This will be very small number. Why? First of all, I should remind you again that in the far field approximation, I told you the frequency, the b is the dimension of the loop, right? B is the radius, that is the dimension of the loop, and b is much less than the radius as well as the frequency or the wavelength. Sorry, not the frequency, inverse of the frequency, that is the wavelength lambda. And what is lambda? Lambda is 2 pi c by omega. 2 pi by omega is frequency nu, c by nu is lambda, and this is lambda. B is much less than lambda. So you can see omega b times, or if you multiply omega into b by c, will be much less than this number. So omega b by c, 2 pi is, I mean, it's a number not very large. So omega b by c will be very small than this 2 pi. So omega b by c, this wherever you see this term, this will be very small, omega b by c. So if I break this term cos a cos b plus cos a minus sin a sin b, so what will be the individual terms? Let us write that. So let us take these terms outside. I0 has nothing to do the integration. So, and b is also b has also nothing to do with the integration. So mu 0 b into I0, I'm keeping them outside. 4 pi. R has also nothing to do with here. The integration r I'm keeping that outside. So 0 to 2 pi, as already mentioned, b by 1 minus b by r sin theta cos phi. B by r is a very small number, so you can also Taylor expand it. So if you take this to the numerator, that will become 1 plus b by r sin theta cos phi, right? And let us first write down this term in a simplified way. So this will be cos of omega t minus r by c, and then cos of omega into b by c sin theta cos phi. Now I told you omega into b by c sin theta cos phi is very small. If it is nearly, I mean, close to 0, then cos 0 is 1. So you just don't, this is 1. I don't have to write anything here. Then minus sine of omega t minus r by c, and then sine of this. Sine of this, when theta is very small, sine theta is close to theta. So I write here, in place of sine of this, I am writing omega b by c sine theta cos phi. So this is the simplified this numerator cos omega into blah blah blah, here this one, into, then I'm taking this part in the numerator. So I write into 1 minus sorry, plus, this will become plus 1 plus b by r sine theta cos phi into this phi cap, that is minus of x cap sine phi plus y cap cos phi, right? Yes. Okay, to simplify it further. Okay, how to simplify that? Of course, we can multiply the individual terms. So there are three terms. This one is the enter this one into this one into this one. Let us keep this aside. Only consider these two terms. This one and the first, this one and this one. First, let us simplify this, and then we'll go to the other one. Okay, so mu 0 b I0 divided by 4 pi r 0 to 2 pi, and I'm just multiplying this, nothing else. So cos omega t minus r by c into 1, that will be cos omega t minus r by c plus, this is plus, so plus b by r plus b by r cos of omega t minus r by c into sin theta cos phi, into sin theta cos phi. Okay, then I multiply this term with these two terms. Okay, let us write that minus of sin omega t minus r by c into omega b by c into sin theta cos phi, because there is nothing to multiply, only one here in the first term. The second term contains b by r, so sin square theta cos square phi, and what will be that, minus, this is minus, right, minus plus, this will be minus, this is also minus, and minus plus, this will be minus omega by c, omega by c, we have a b here, we have a b by r here, so b square by r, b square by r, and then we have what is that, sine sine omega, this one sine omega t minus r by c, and then sine theta cos phi here, sine theta cos phi here also. Am I correct? Yes, sine square theta cos square phi, right, into this one, right, minus x cap sine phi plus y cap cos phi. Now let us analyze these terms carefully. You see, I already told you that b by r is much less than 1. So b square by r, b is a small number, use b square by r, this one, this, and omega by c. See, omega by c, this is also as omega b by c. There is two things. You see, how do you get this? You get this by multiplying omega b by c into b by r. Both of them are small number, right? This is also much less than 1, this is also much less than 1. So if you take a product between them, it is like taking b by r square, b square by r square. So this term will be negligible as compared to the other terms. It is not like that is 0. We are working under some approximation. This term is smaller than the other terms, much smaller as compared to, see here also that we have a b by r, but we are not dropping that. We have to compare among the available terms. So this term is omega b by c into b by r, so that is much smaller than 1, that is going to 0. Okay, so what we are left with here, equal to mu 0 b I0 divided by 4 pi r 0 to 2 pi. Let us simplify this. Wait a minute. Yeah, সো আমাদের কাছে কি থাকলো, সাইন থিটা, এটার সঙ্গে গুণ করা যাক, এটার সঙ্গে আচ্ছা এটা না করে সিম্পলিফাই করে দেওয়া যায়, সাইন ফাই আর কস ফাই আছে, রাইট? জাস্ট সো ইউ সি, if I multiply, we have to integrate between 0 to 2 pi, so সব কটা টার্ম থাকবে না। sin phi is a, if I integrate sin phi or cos phi from 0 to 2 pi, that will be 0, right? So if I see, we have minus x cap sin phi plus y cap cos phi, so multiply these two terms one by one with all this. That will be quite lengthy. If I do the calculation, it will take another page. So if I explain this in words, it will be simple, because if I multiply sin phi here, we have only one sin phi, this integration is over phi, right? This is not over t, phi. So 0 to 2 pi, which term will survive, which term will vanish? Only the cos square phi terms, or the sin, I mean, you see cos square phi, we have a cos square, this is already 0, this term is dropped, this last term is already dropped. So sin phi, this term will vanish. We have sin phi cos phi. In the second term, if I multiply this sin phi with the second term, we will have sin theta cos phi sin phi. Sin phi cos phi can be again written as half of 2 sin phi cos phi, which is sin 2 phi. Again, if you integrate, that will be 0, right? And if you take this term sin phi cos phi, again that will be 0, right? If I multiply cos phi Cos phi, again the first term will be 0. Cos phi into cos phi, that will be cos square phi. That term will survive. And for the last term also, cos phi into cos phi, that term will survive. That will also non-zero. And that only happens for y cap, right? So y cap. So I am not, I'm not writing all the parts and writing them separately as 0. I have explained which terms will become 0 and which terms will be non-zero. So I am only keeping the terms which will contain cos square phi. All the other terms will become 0, right? So only the terms which will contain cos square phi are retained, and the other terms, if you integrate over 0 to 2 pi, will be 0. So I'm writing only those terms: d by r cos of omega t minus r by c sine theta cos square phi minus omega, this one, these two terms, this one and this one, right? This one and this one with the last one multiplied with this one, omega b by c sine omega t minus r by c, yes, sine omega t minus r by c, and what is that, sine theta cos square phi into y cap d phi, right? Now if you integrate over 0 to 2 pi cos square, this cos square phi will give you pi. The limit is 0 to 2 pi. So if you integrate the upper limit by 2, that is pi, right? Cos square phi will give you pi, and this will also give you pi. So let us write this equal to mu 0 b, where is b? We have a b here, we have a b here, so maybe we can take b outside. B is here, both the terms contains b, so mu 0 b square. And if I integrate these phi terms, I will get a pi, so I'm putting that pi outside. Pi integral is done. Pi I0 divided by 4 pi r, right? And then let us take this common, omega by c. Sine theta is also present in this term, sine theta is there and there, so I'm taking sine theta common, and also omega by c common. If I take omega by c common and sine theta common in this term, we'll have omega by c common, so I have to multiply by c by omega, multiply by c by omega, right? C by, there is r here, c by omega r in the first term, and then we have cos of omega t minus r by c. Sine theta is taken outside, cos square phi is integrated, which gives pi. Pi is kept outside, so there is only 1 by r, so 1 by r is there. I have taken omega by c common, so I multiplied by c by omega, this one. Then minus, I have taken omega by c common outside, so that is not there. B is also taken outside, b is not there. Only this term is there, sine of omega t minus r by c, right? And then y cap. So this is the vector potential, right? Mu 0 b square pi I0. Okay, I will write this term again in the next page before I simplify it. So the simplified version that we have for the vector potential is mu 0 b square pi. Pi is coming from the integration, I0 divided by 4 pi r. Omega by c, sine theta was taken common, so what we had inside the bracket is c by omega times r cos of omega t minus r by c minus sine omega t minus r by c into y cap. This was vector potential. Now you see, now we compare these two terms, which term is dominant and which one term should be kept, and if we have to retain both the terms, then it's okay, but we have to analyze that. You see, we have b square by r here, right? B square by r, and there is 1 by r here. You see, 1 by r. So the first term contain actually b square by r square, b square by r square, right? Omega by c will cancel out, so that is not fact, that is not the important thing. In the second term we have omega by c, but that in the first term we have b square by r square, so that will be much less than 1. So again, if you compare between these two terms, the first term will be negligible as compared to the second term. So this vector potential A can be written as, again I should write nearly equal to minus y cap minus sign is there, so minus y cap mu 0. Maybe we can write this to be m0 b square. Pi b square is the area, and I0 is the moment. So that is, sorry, not the moment, the peak current, the so that is mu 0 times m0. M0 is pi b square I0, right, magnetic moment, divided by 4 pi r. Omega yc is there, so omega yc, and then we have sine theta and sine of that, sine theta into sine omega t minus r by c. This is the vector potential. Now in this particular case, uh, you may remember that y cap, if you remember the picture, the way we interpreted it. What was this? This was the picture x, y, and z, and our field point is on this plane, right? This is P, right? And y cap means, if I take this point, y cap is perpendicular to this plane, which is nothing but phi cap, right? Because phi cap is along this direction, right? Phi cap, this direction. So phi cap and y cap are identical in this case, because our field point is situated on the xz plane, right? And at the field point P, the y cap is pointed along the phi cap direction. So you can write this to be phi cap, because in this case, y cap and phi cap are identical, of course, right? So you can now calculate the electric field, because what is electric field? Electric field is E equal to minus of grad phi del A del T, but there is no phi here, right? Okay, of course, phi, I'm writing this phi is angle phi. Okay, so right again. There is no scalar potential here, phi is 0. So E is simply minus of del A del T in this case. So what is the electric field then? The electric field associated with this dipole, oscillating magnetic dipole, is given by the time derivative of this one. So we have a sine omega, sorry, I think I have made some mistake somewhere. No, it's correct. Just check. Sine, yeah. Okay, yeah, sine. So if we have this sine terms, so sine, if I take a time derivative of that, that will give me cos of omega t minus r by c with the omega factor, right? So, and since there is a minus sign already there, this is a minus sign, and we have a minus del A del t, so minus and minus becomes plus, this minus and this minus becomes plus. So, and the direction is, of course, y cap and phi cap are identical. So electric field at this point P is pointed towards the phi cap direction, phi cap, and we have mu 0 m0 divided by 4 pi r. We have omega by c, but when I take a derivative, I get another omega, so that makes it omega square by c. And then we have sine theta as it is, and sine is differentiated to give cos omega t minus r by c. This is the electric field. Now we have to calculate the magnetic field. Okay. Okay. We have to calculate the magnetic field. So this is the electric field. I can straight away calculate the magnetic field by taking 1 by c r cap cross E. But before I do that, I have to show that they are orthogonal, right? Calculating B from E is not going to be a difficult task. You can just write 1 by c r cap cross E, that is B, and that will be much simpler rather than doing the entire calculation, right? But that is not advisable, because we have to first show that they are orthogonal. Because if I have shown that E is along phi cap, then I have to show B along theta cap, right? If you assume that they are orthogonal, then of course that can be done. But what is the basis of that assumption? So let us show that. So B, magnetic field B is given by curl of A, and A is already calculated. A has only one component, phi component, right? So what is that? That is, and you have to also, so that is A equal to, let me just write down the expression for A, which we have obtained earlier. This is A, only y component, y cap or phi cap component is there. So curl of some vector in spherical polar coordinate, we have a minus sign. This minus sign is taken out. Suppose I put this minus sign outside, and then I'm writing the formula 1 by r square sine theta, then r cap, r theta cap, r sine theta, phi cap, and then these are del r del del theta, del del phi. These are AR, R into A theta, R sin theta into A phi, R sin theta, A phi. These two terms are zero, so these are zero. Only you have A phi component, and what is A phi? This is A phi multiplied by R sin theta. So this will become, R will get cancelled. You see, sine square theta. So we'll have sine square theta and R will get cancelled. And these are constant terms, right? Mu0 m0 4 pi r এগুলো বাইরে চলে যাবে, এগুলো বাইরে দিয়ে দেওয়া যেতে পারে। Yes, and because then we only have r theta cap, because r theta cap কি হবে, del del r of this আসবে, এটা 0 হয়ে গেল। আর লাস্ট টার্মটা থাকবে, লাস্ট টার্মটা না, লাস্ট টার্ম থাকবে না, r থাকবে। r r হলে কি হয়, এটা আচ্ছা মাইনাস এটা del del theta of this r cap into del del theta of this plus r theta cap into del del r of this, right? So এটাই করতে হবে। So how to write this? Okay, let's go to the next page. clumsy হয়ে যাবে খুব। Yes, so b equal to curl of a, so I'm just writing the formula first, equal to minus of 1 by r square sin theta, and then r cap, r theta cap, r sin theta phi cap, r sin theta phi cap. This is del del r, del del theta, del del phi. These are zero, I'm not writing this. And this is what, r sin theta into a phi, r sin theta minus sin টা বাইরে বার করে দিয়েছি, চাইলে এখানে রাখতে পারো একই ব্যাপার, r sin theta a phi. A phi is mu0 m0 by 4 pi r, এই rটা কেটে যাবে, and then omega by c, and sin theta and sin omega t minus r by c. Okay, this is being magnetic field B. So let us then simplify. This is r square sin theta, so minus of mu0 m0, mu0 এগুলো কনস্ট্যান্ট হবে, কমন থাকবে, বাইরে বার করে দিচ্ছি, mu0 নাহলে বারবার লিখতে হবে, mu0 m0 ওমেগা বাই r square sin theta আর 4 pi c, all these are constant outside. Okay, এরপরে করা যাক এটা। এবার কি হলো, r cap, r cap থাকলো, r cap এর সঙ্গে কি থাকছে, you have to take r cap del del theta of that, right? del del theta কে, হ্যাঁ বলো, কিছু বলবে? del del theta of this sin theta, right? Sin square theta, right? একটা এই sin theta and sin theta, sin square theta, so ডিফারেন্সিয়েট করা হয়, sin square theta হবে 2 sin theta into cos theta, 2 sin theta into cos theta, 2 sin theta into cos theta into sin of যেটা আছে ওমেগা টি মাইনাস আর বাই সি, মাইনাস, এটা মাইনাস সাইন কেন হবে, আর থিটা ক্যাপ, এটা জিরো, মাইনাস হবে, মাইনাস ডেল ডেল আর অফ, মাইনাস আর থিটা ক্যাপ ডেল ডেল আর, এটা ব্র্যাকেট দেওয়া যাক, ডেল ডেল আর অফ কি থাকছে, ডেল ডেল আর অফ সাইন ওমেগা টি মাইনাস আর বাই সি, একটা আর ভেতরে আছে, ইন্টু সাইন স্কোয়ার থিটা পড়ে থাকবে, সাইন স্কোয়ার থিটা, এই, রাইট, equal to again you see we have this one is what is m0, m0 is a pi, actually again you see you may ask me the question that b square by r square কখনো কখনো আমি drop b square by r square is much less than 1, because b by r is less than much less than 1, but when you have two terms, then you have to you have to make a relative comparison. You cannot just drop all the b square by r square term, then this will be 0, right? Because m0 contains b square, pi b square into i0, and in the denominator I have r square. So you may think that all the b square by r square terms will be dropped, then it will be 0, then no magnetic field. And that is not the case, because you have something with you have two different terms, and you to compare, of course that is small, but which one is the smallest? maybe one term is just say 100 times smaller than the other, then you have to keep the larger term and then drop the smaller term, but and see what is the contribution coming from that, right? So that I should point out here. Otherwise you may confuse that b square by r square, I am dropping that and here I am keeping that. It's not just for the for the sake of just have some non-zero magnetic field. That is just maybe because you are comparing the two terms. And so since b square by r square, that is of course 0, and you see these terms contains r square here, but we have r multiplied here, you see you have r, so r will this r এই rটা যদি কেটে যায় r square তাহলে r হয়ে যাবে, তাহলে ফার্স্ট টার্ম আর সেকেন্ড টার্ম যদি তুমি কম্পেয়ার করো তাহলে ফার্স্ট টার্মটা b square by r square যাচ্ছে, অন্যটা b square by r যাচ্ছে, r square r is a very large r can be very large distance, right? So তলায় r square থাকা আর r থাকার মধ্যে তফাৎ আছে. So this term, and if you compare this term is much smaller than this term, so we keep only this term, so that I have to keep nearly equal to, not this one, minus of mu 0 m0 omega and then 4 pi r square c এই sin theta I have a sin square theta, তাহলে কি হবে, এটা sin theta হয়ে যাবে, sin theta, yes. তাহলে ওমেগা বাই সি এখান থেকে একটা আসবে, ওমেগা বাই সি, রাইট, উই হ্যাভ টু টেক এ ডেরিভেটিভ নেওয়া হয়নি, এটা নিয়ে নেওয়া উচিত, তাহলে এটা হয়ে যাবে মাইনাস অফ আর থিটা ক্যাপ, সাইনটা কস হয়ে যাবে ওমেগা টি মাইনাস আর বাই সি, আর ডেরিভেটিভ নিলাম তাহলে কত আসবে মাইনাস অফ ওমেগা বাই সি, তার সঙ্গে থাকলো সাইন স্কোয়ার থিটা, এই তাহলে এটাকে সিম্পলিফাই করলে দাঁড়াচ্ছে মাইনাস মিউ জিরো এম জিরো ওমেগা বাই সি ইন্টু ওমেগা বাই সি, মাইনাস আর মাইনাস গুণ করলে প্লাস হয়ে গেল, ইয়েস, বাট বাইরে একটা মাইনাস রয়েছে, এটা থাক, এই মাইনাস গুণ হয়ে প্লাস হলো, এই মাইনাস রয়ে গেল, মিউ জিরো এম জিরো ওমেগা স্কোয়ার হবে, ওমেগা তলায় থাকবে 4 pi r square times c, and then we have sin square theta, একটা sin theta এখানে ছিল, এই sin theta লেখা হয়নি, sin theta, so one sin theta will be cancelled, so we'll have sin theta in the numerator and then cos of omega t minus r by c, and ডাইরেকশনটা আমরা এখানে এই যে থিটা ক্যাপ ছিল এখানে থিটা ক্যাপ, তাহলে এখানে থিটা ক্যাপ, তাহলে clearly magnetic field is pointing towards theta cap, whereas electric field was pointing towards phi cap. And if you compare with the magnitude of electric field, you may remember the electric field কি ছিল, electric field ছিল আমাদের equal to phi cap mu 0 m0 by 4 pi r, we have just calculated it a few minutes back, omega square এখানে একটা c square হবে, sorry, because this is omega by c, this is omega by c, so omega square by c square, this was omega square c into sin theta cos of omega t minus r by c. This was the electric field that we calculated. So if you want to find out a relationship between them, be equal to nothing but this is r cap cross e by c. You see this is c square, this is c, right, and this is along theta cap, that was along phi cap. So of course r cap cross phi cap equal to theta cap. So now we have both the electric field and magnetic field for the oscillating magnetic dipole, which we can use to calculate the Poynting vector and the total power radiated. Let us do that quickly because now the work is quite trivial. The Poynting vector SR is 1 over mu 0 ER cross BR. And since they're orthogonal, we have seen it many times that this can be written as 1 by mu 0 r cap ER square, right? Because ER dot r cap is 0. This is simply you can write this because B can be written as r cap cross E by C, so A cross B cross C, you simplify that, ER dot r cap will be 0, so you can finally write that in this manner. And since ER is already known to us, so let us prove that. I have missed a C here, right? Because when I write BR will be r cap cross ER by C, so I should write a C which I have forgotten, 1 by mu 0 C, right? So 1 over mu 0 C r cap and then er square. Er আমরা আগে পেয়েছি, what is er, just take a square, mu 0, so mu 0 square, m0, so it will be square, right? And then 4 pi 4 pi r, so that will be becomes 4 pi square r square, so 4 pi square r square, right? 4 pi square, right? And then we have omega square, that will become omega to the power 4, and there was a c in the denominator, that will become c square. Omega square by c becomes omega to the power 4 by c square, and then sine theta becomes sine square theta, and cos omega t minus r by c, this becomes cos square omega t minus r by c. And if I ask you to calculate the time averaged value of the Poynting vector, time average means you take an average of the Poynting vector over a time period, so 0 to capital T, so that will give you, if you integrate cos square omega t minus r by c over the entire time period, you will get a half factor from that. So it will become, you see, r cap mu 0, this is mu 0, this is mu 0 square, so there will be mu 0 r cap times mu 0 m0 square, এই পাওয়ারটা কমে যাবে, mu m0 square, and then half factor, 4 into 4 16 cross half, that is 32, and then pi square, and then c square is here, and you have a c here, c square into c, that becomes c cube, into r square is there, r square, into omega to the power 4 into sine square theta. This is the average Poynting vector. And if I ask you to calculate the total power radiated, pt, again you see this is again a similar type of pattern. You can see sine square theta, you know what is theta and what is the magnetic dipole along which it is oscillating, right? So again the radiation pattern has nothing new into it, right? It's the sine square theta. And pt, total power radiated, can be obtained by just take the dot, this is r cap dot r cap into the element of area dA. So if you integrate this, again it's a similar integral, so I'm not repeating it. dA is r square sine theta d theta d phi, r square gets cancelled, sine square theta and sine theta sine cube theta, and d phi gives you 2 pi, and if you integrate sine cube theta over 0 to pi, you get 4 by 3. So I'm just putting the values here, not repeating the same thing again and again. Mu 0 m0 square omega to the power 4 divided by 32 pi square c cube into 4/3 into 2 pi. This gives us equal to mu 0 m0 square omega to the power 4 divided by 12 pi c cube. This is the total power radiated by an oscillating magnetic dipole. And remember, what was the total power radiated by an oscillating electric dipole? This is magnetic dipole, right? Magnetic dipole. And for electric dipole, this is for oscillating magnetic dipole. And for oscillating electric dipole, the same power is given by mu 0 p0 square. What is p0? P0 is, if you remember, p0 is q0 times dl, right? Omega to the power 4. Both are frequency dependent and both depends on the frequency in the same manner. It's the fourth power of the frequency. But if I ask you, suppose you have two systems of similar dimension, right? Two systems with similar dimension. That means, what is the dimension here? Electric dipole, when I draw an electric dipole, I've had electric dipole, the dimension is dl, right? When I have a oscillating magnetic dipole, I have a loop which has a radius, say b, right? This is the radius b. So its perimeter is 2 pi b, right? Area is pi b square. So you may think that the typical, if I compare, so suppose dl is of the order of say pi b, because this is a loop, so you can let me take half of the loop size, so that is 2 pi b, that is pi b, because if you squeeze that, if you project that, it will be similar to nearly equal to pi b, nearly equal to, it's not exactly same. So dl and pi b, if they are having similar dimension, similar size, and if I ask you that both of the system are radiating, one is oscillating electric dipole and is oscillating magnetic dipole, which one should be given more importance, which one is more important physically, and which one will radiate more power? That is the question. In order to get the answer, you have to take a ratio between them. So P magnetic power radiated by magnetic dipole, power radiated by an oscillating electric dipole. If I take a ratio, I know the formula for both. So let us take a ratio. You see, omega to the power 4, omega to the power 4 gets cancelled. 12 pi gets cancelled. We have a c square left here, cq and c square left here, and you see we have m0 and p0, of course m0 square. So we have, what we have is m0 square by p0 square c square. This is what we have. Now what is m0? You may remember what is m0. M0 is the dipole moment of the loop, which is pi b square time. So I can write this to be m0, let us write this way, p0 c whole square, right? So this will be equal to m0 is what? Pi b square I0. This is the magnetic moment of the loop, divided by what is p0? Q0 times the dl, and I have written dl to be nearly equal to pi b. So this is the, I'm comparing the dimensions. I can write q0 into dl is pi b. So I'm writing q0 times pi b into c whole square of that. And what is that? You see, pi gets cancelled, b, this is b square. So what we have is I0 and I0 is what? I0 is, you may remember what is I0, pi b square, I0 and Q0, right? I0 is, okay, what is I0? How can we get I0? Okay, I can get I0. Q equal to Q0 cos omega t, right? Cos omega t. So I equal to dq dt. This is equal to Q0 omega into sine omega t. So Q0 into omega is equal to I0 sine omega t. So I0 is Q0 omega, right? Q equal to Q0 omega, Q0 cos omega t. I have taken the derivative to get the current, which is Q0 omega sine omega t. So Q0 omega is I0. So in place of I0, I'm writing Q0 omega. So Q0 gets cancelled out. So we have B into omega by C. So what is left here is omega b by c whole square. Now you may remember what is omega b by c, right? I already told you in the beginning of the calculation when we are simplifying different expressions, we have encountered that b is much less than lambda. And what is lambda? Lambda is 2 pi c by omega. So omega b by c is much less than 2 pi. It's a very small number. Omega b by c is a very small number. And if you take a square of that small number, of course we have a number which is much less than 1. That means if we take a ratio between the power radiated by an oscillating magnetic dipole and an oscillating electric dipole, that ratio will be much smaller than 1. What that implies, that the magnetic dipole radiation will be negligible as compared to the electric dipole radiation. So if you have a system of similar dimension and you have a, say, both electric dipole radiation as well as magnetic dipole radiation, then you can ignore the magnetic dipole radiation as compared to the electric dipole radiation. But of course you have to keep in mind that this is only in comparison with the electric dipole radiation. That doesn't mean that there is no magnetic dipole radiation. There is of course a magnetic dipole radiation, but that is much feeble as compared to the electric dipole radiation. Again, this has, I mean, several applications, and I'm not going to the application part in this particular semester because we do not have much time left with us. So I have covered both the electric dipole radiation and magnetic dipole radiation in the context of individual point charge moving in a loop or in a linear periodic motion. But the same analysis can be also done in case of a collection of point charge, where the collection of point charge is moving, so that can have a dipole moment which can be varying with time, which I have not discussed yet, but that can be also, I will try to discuss that as well, but that is more into mathematical. I mean, this is also mathematical, but at least you get some physical idea that what the actual situation I mean looks like. I mean, when I have only one single point charge moving in a trajectory in a circle or in a linear periodic path, then you have a clear idea about what is happening. But if I just talk about a collection of charge moving randomly and that have some kind of magnetic moment and electric dipole moment, that is, I mean, you cannot visualize it. You can do it mathematically. So we will do that, because in case of a collection of point charge having some I mean electric and magnetic dipole moment, we can also separate the contribution for each of these terms and calculate what is the amount of radiation that is expected from the system of charge. So I think let us plan our next few classes cleverly, so that we can at least cover the most important the core I mean things which we are supposed to learn, and application part I am not giving importance because of the lack of time. তাহলে আমরা ইলেকট্রিক ডাইপোল রেডিয়েশন, ম্যাগনেটিক ডাইপোল রেডিয়েশন ইন দ্য কনটেক্সট অফ এ সিঙ্গেল পয়েন্ট চার্জ পড়ে নিলাম। এরপর আমরা কালেকশন চার্জের জন্য পড়বো। তার আগে আমার মনে হয় স্ক্যাটারিংটা আলোচনা করে নেওয়া যেতে পারে, কারণ স্ক্যাটারিংটা খুব বেশি কিছু কঠিন নয়, বিকজ উই হ্যাভ অলরেডি লার্ন দ্য রিকোয়ার্ড ফর্মুলাজ which will be needed for it. So we can just apply those formulas and learn the classical scatterings. So classical physics এর যেগুলো স্ক্যাটারিং বলতে যেখানে আমরা ইলেকট্রোম্যাগনেটিক রেডিয়েশনের ক্ষেত্রে অনেক রকম স্ক্যাটারিং হতে পারে, বাট এখানে আমরা যেটা প্রাইমারিলি লো এনার্জিতে যে স্ক্যাটারিং গুলো সেগুলি আলোচনা করব। সো স্ক্যাটারিং এন্ড দেন মাল্টিপোল রেডিয়েশন, সাম পার্ট অফ কতটা করা যাবে জানি না, তোমাদের একটা পরীক্ষা আছে 20 তারিখ, অলরেডি তোমাদের সঙ্গে আগের দিন ক্লাসে আলোচনা হয়েছে। সো আমাদের হাতে সময় বেশি নেই, 21 অবধি সময় আছে, তার মধ্যে কটা ক্লাস পাওয়া যাচ্ছে? আজকে কত তারিখ? বেশি ক্লাস নেই। কটা ক্লাস আছে বলতো 21 এর আগে? আজকে 14 না 15? কেউ বলতে পারবে কটা ক্লাস আছে? কটা ক্লাস আছে বলতে পারবে এর মাঝখানে? আজকে শুক্রবার না, 3-4টা পাওয়া যাবে না? নেক্সট উইকটা পাচ্ছি মনে হয়, না কিনা পাচ্ছি না আজকে পাচ্ছি।
আর একটাই ক্লাস আছে,
আর একটাই ক্লাস আছে।
এক্সাম
এক্সাম
3টা আর মঙ্গল আর বুধ পাচ্ছি পরের সপ্তাহে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, তাহলে একটা দিন আমাকে এক্সট্রা ক্লাস দিয়ে দিও তোমরা, আরেকটা দিন, ঠিক আছে? কারণ আমি চাইছি স্ক্যাটারিং পার্টটা তাহলে একদিনেই মোটামুটি সামারাইজ করে ফেলবো। না, আমি মানে পুরো জিনিসটাকে যেটা আমি চাইছি যে অ্যাটলিস্ট আমাদের যেটা কোর সিলেবাস, মানে প্লাজমা ফিজিক্স, ঠিক আছে, প্লাজমা ফিজিক্স এর এখানে বেশি কিছু নেই, কিছু পার্টিকেল মোশন যেগুলো তোমরা বিএসসি তে পড়েছো সেগুলোর সঙ্গে কিছুটা অ্যাডিশনাল জিনিসপত্র পড়ানো হয়, বাট এগেন দ্যাট ইজ নট সো ইম্পর্টেন্ট, ওটা না জানলেও কিছু যায় আসে না। কিন্তু আমার মনে হয় ইলেকট্রোডাইনামিক্স যেটা বেসিক কোর পার্ট, সেটা আমি হলে কভার করতে চাইছিলাম। মাল্টিপল রেডিয়েশন বোঝা যাচ্ছে কভার করা যাবে না, কারণ মাল্টিপল রেডিয়েশন কভার করতে গেলে তোমাকে ইট উইল টেক অ্যাট লিস্ট 3 ক্লাসেস মিনিমাম, কারণ ইট ইজ পিওরলি ম্যাথমেটিক্যাল। ইউ জাস্ট হ্যাভ টু, যেগুলো আমরা আলোচনা করছি এগুলো ম্যাথমেটিক্যাল, বাট এগেন ওটা হচ্ছে পিওরলি ম্যাথমেটিক্যাল। এগেন ইউ জাস্ট হ্যাভ টু অ্যানালাইজ দ্য potential and field from the solution that we have obtained by the Green's function method. Green's function method যেটা বার করেছিলাম সেগুলো। আচ্ছা, একটা কাজ করা যাক, পরের ক্লাসে বরং আমি এটাই শুরু করা যাক, কিছুটা হলেও টাচ করা যাক, অ্যাটলিস্ট একটা ফিলিং থাকবে যে এই একই জিনিসকে আমরা অনুভব করতে পারি। স্ক্যাটারিং আমি একটা ক্লাস, তাহলে তোমরা একটা কাজ করো, আমাকে নেক্সট উইক আরেকটা ক্লাস দাও তোমরা কোনো একদিন, মানে 21 তারিখের আগে। তোমাদের কি অন্যান্য যে পেপারগুলো রয়েছে তাদের কোথাও ফাঁকে কোথাও স্লট একটা দেওয়া যাবে কি?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, অসুবিধা নেই, তাহলে আলোচনা করে বলবো।
তোমরা একটু আলোচনা করে নিও। হ্যাঁ, কোনো আমি জাস্ট এটা মানে কোর্সটা শেষ হয়ে এসছে, মানে জাস্ট যেটুকু দেখো, এর কোর্স শেষ হওয়া মানে কি, একটা কোর্সকে চাইলে তোমরাও নিশ্চয়ই এটা বুঝতে পারো যে একটা কোর্সকে পড়াতে গেলে বিভিন্ন ভাবে অ্যাপ্রোচ করা যেতে পারে। আমি একটা জিনিসকে নিয়ে আরো অনেক অনেক ডিটেলস আলোচনা করতে পারি, আবার জিনিসটাকে জাস্ট মেনশন করে রিলাইভ করে চলে যেতে পারি। অ্যান্ড ইট ডিপেন্ডস অন দ্য টিচার, রাইট, অ্যান্ড হি অর হার ইন্টারেস্ট, রাইট। এখন এই জিনিসগুলো প্রত্যেকটা জিনিসই ইন্টারেস্টিং এবং প্রত্যেকটা জিনিসেরই অ্যাপ্লিকেশন রয়েছে। এখন অ্যাপ্লিকেশনের উপরে খুব একটা এমফাসিস থাকে না, কারণ এটা ফিজিক্সের কোর্স। এখানে তুমি যেমন আমি তোমাকে বললাম যে অ্যান্টেনা নিয়ে অনেক কিছু আলোচনা করা যেতে পারে। Again, all those things are based on the physics that we are discussing in the current course. কিন্তু সেটা স্কোপ আমাদের নেই। কিন্তু সময় থাকলে হয়তো একটা দুটো আরো এডিশনাল ক্লাস স্পেন্ড করা যেতে পারতো। তো আমি সেই এম রাখছি না, কিন্তু অ্যাটলিস্ট যেটুকু আমার মনে হয় না হলেই নয় সেটা আমি কভার করতে চাইছি। তাহলে নেক্সট উইক আর দুটো ক্লাস হলে মোটামুটি ভাবে কভার হয়ে যাবে। আর তোমাদের আমি আর আলাদা করে কোনো নোটিশ দিচ্ছি না, তোমাদের 20th পরীক্ষাটা সবাইকে জানিয়ে দিও, যারা যারা ক্লাস করছে বা করছে না যারা আর কি, তারা আর আমি আলাদা করে নোটিশ দিচ্ছি না। একটু বন্ধু বান্ধবের মধ্যে কন্ট্যাক্ট থাকলে জানিয়ে দিও সবাইকে, ঠিক আছে?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ঠিক
ওকে
আছে।
স্যার। স্যার এই
Okay.
পার্টটার জন্য
Okay,
জ্যাকসনটাই ফলো করবো তো?
ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে কি বলতো, এগুলো বিভিন্নভাবে করা আছে। হ্যাঁ, জ্যাকসন গ্রিফিথও ইনফ্যাক্ট আছে, এটা এক্স্যাক্টলি সেম টু সেম নয়, কিন্তু গ্রিফিথও আছে এটা, এই পার্টটা যেটা তোমার লাস্ট দুটো ক্লাস এটা পড়ালাম, এটা গ্রিফিথও আছে। হ্যাঁ, এনিওয়ে আমি চেষ্টা করবো এগুলোকে করে দেওয়ার আর কি। হ্যাঁ, তাহলে আমি এত রকমের আরো অনেক অ্যাডিশনাল কাজকর্ম জুটে গেছে, এখন আর বসে নোট বানাতে পারছি না আমি। আর আমার কাছে অ্যাকচুয়ালি বানানো ফেয়ার কোনো নোট বানানো নেই যেটা আমি স্ক্যান করে পাঠিয়ে দিই। আমার আসলে ওই কিছু কিছু স্ক্রিবল করা থাকে এখানে ওখানে, ওগুলোকে আমি আবার নতুন করে প্রত্যেক বছরই আবার নতুন করে করি, যার ফলে ফেয়ার নোটস নেই। আমি চেষ্টা করবো তোমাদের দিয়ে দেওয়ার এগুলো। হ্যাঁ, দেখা যাক, চেষ্টা করি। এগুলো তুমি গ্রিফিথ জ্যাকসন দুটো থেকেই পড়তে পারো। গ্রিফিথটাতে একটু সহজ লাগবে, জ্যাকসনটা একটু কঠিন লাগবে, এই যা। ঠিক আছে তাহলে।